Now, in First John 4 and 16, when you read in there, you see it says that God is what? Love. And I want to tell you that we've experienced God's love from all of the people who sent condolences, cards, sympathies, phone calls, letters, text messages. And my mom said, Ruben, when you get up there, please acknowledge the people over in Kenya that are watching today. They've already messaged us say we're watching, so we want to say thank you for tuning in. And hopefully in this message, you get the chance to learn a little bit about my dad. Now, my dad was multifaceted. And a lot of people talk to you about how smart he was, how intelligent he was. And believe me, he was a logical guy. And if you ever try to reach him outside of logic, he's going to hit you with about 3 or 4 listens. He's like, listen to what you're saying. Listen. That's the way he was. They were right when he said he was a protector. My dad was a protector. And when we hurt, he hurt. I remember coming home one day, 1103 Republican. We had this bank. We had been saving pennies, quarters, nickels, dimes. My grandfather, Clyde West, my grandfather, Riley Bird, they gave us these coins. Me and my brother would put them in the jar. It was a tall jar. And I don't know why we did this, but we used the jar to prop the door open. So everybody coming into the house knew about this bank we had. I'm speaking to somebody today. The people that we loved and cared about, the people that we thought loved us, knew about our bank that we used to prop open the door. Come on. And so one day we come home and the door's ajar. And our bank's gone. And it broke me and my brother. And my dad went in the room. And we were crying. I mean, we had been saving this money for a long time. And to us kids, we thought we were rich. Yeah. And my dad came out of the room with a 12-gauge shotgun, and he was racking rounds in the shotgun. And my mom said, Bobby, what are you doing? He said, I'm gonna find out who took this bank. I'm planning on shooting anybody with too much change. My dad was a protector, but in a lot of ways, he was a hothead. I'm gonna just be honest with you. He was a hothead. That's my dad. And so every once in a while, if you catch me and my brother at the wrong place at the wrong time, in the wrong situation, you'll see that element of my dad come out. Don't blame it. They got a song, she got it from her mom. Well, we got it from our dad. My dad also was a server. He believed in helping people, and he would help anyone. As a matter of fact, I cannot tell you the number of brakes that were changed in our driveway, the number of fan belts, alternators, you name it. If you had a problem, he was going to help you with it. When my grandmother West could not stay in her home, my dad insisted that she came and live with my mom and dad. And he made it a point that he was going to take care of her. And my grandmother knew there was a difference between my mother and my father. And so my grandmother would ask my mom, Rosie, I want so-and-so to eat. I want this to drink. And she would say, Mama, you don't need that. And my grandma said, okay. And then she never asked my mom again. So she'd just go to my dad. My dad would say, well, what do you want to eat? And she would tell her. She would tell him, and he would make her whatever she wanted. And then my mom would come in, and she'd say, Mama, you don't need that. And she'd say, Bobby made it. Bobby fixed it. And she said, Bobby, she doesn't need that. And he said, listen to this. It's past the time for what she needs, and now it's just time for what she wants. Come on. That at some point, you've done your work. Mom, you've done your work. Come on. It's time for what you want. My dad was a server. My dad loved to help, but they keep telling you that my dad retired. But I want to tell you that my Aunt Sandra got my dad refired. And what I mean is, he got fired up again. He loved the International Academy. He did. He loved his sister. And my dad told me he's very wise. And I believe his words and his actions are going to change some people's lives here today, and it's going to change the way you think going forward, because we loved our Aunt Sandra. And my dad's motto was, you don't love her because you love her. You love her because I love her. Come on. See, you didn't know her. I showed you how to treat her. I showed you how to talk to her. I showed you how to think about her. So now you don't even know it, but the reason you love her is because I love her. Now I'm talking to somebody in here today because it's a mistake for you to talk to your children about your siblings in a way that doesn't show love and respect. You know why? Because they get that from you. And so if they love you, if your nieces and nephews, if they love you, you have your sibling to thank. And if they don't, well, I think you get the rest. That's wisdom from Bobby. My dad would give anything, he would do anything, and he would help anyone. He would even, if you needed money, he would loan you money. But he's going to keep a book.
Sure will. Yeah.
Everybody say, pay what you owe.
Pay what you owe.
My dad believed in paying what you owe. And if he loaned you some money, he believed in you paying what you owe. I was just talking to DJ Clark the other day, and he said, Ruben, your dad loaned me $5.
Sure did.
And I said, yeah, I remember that. He told me. And he told DJ, he said, I'll loan you the $5, but you're going to pay me back my $5. My dad was the kind of person, he felt like, when it comes time to pay back, don't cop a plea. That's for court. It's time for you to pay. And so for whatever reason, he didn't see DJ. DJ didn't see him. DJ didn't track him down to pay him back his $5. But they saw each other right here at El Shaddai Church. DJ said he walked in, and when he saw my dad looked at him. And he said, Mr. West, I got your $5. And he said, my dad said, you better, because it can go down right here, right now, even at church. I told that's my dad. I told you he was honest, but he would loan the money. He didn't have a problem loaning the money. And then here's another thing. Everybody say what you mean.
Say what you mean.
My dad, Robert R., he's gonna say what he means. My Aunt Veronica, I heard her say one time that we were raised by drug addicts. She said we were drugged to church on Sunday, drugged to church on Monday, drugged to church on Wednesday, drugged to church on Friday. We lived at church a lot. And when we were younger, my dad came, but as we got older, he didn't come as much, but he would come and support. So one Easter, we're at church, we're younger, we had our suits on, we had an Easter speech, me and my brother, we were in the Sunshine Band, they had a play, and then afterwards we got done, and we were leaving, and everybody knew my dad, so they were coming up, Bobby, it's good to see you. Robert, it's good to see you. Man, it's good to have you at church. But Mother Willa Price stopped my dad right before he was about to walk in the vestibule. And she said, Bobby, it's so good to see you. He said, it's good to be seen. And she said, Bobby, we want to see you more than just on Easter. And my dad said, I'm planning on being here at Christmas too. My dad, I'm just telling you. I was like, Dad, that's Mother Price. He said, I'll see her at Christmas too. I mean, he's not going to pretend. He's not going to make it up. He's going to say exactly what he's thinking. He's going to say it. And then my dad, watch this. He believed in giving credit. Everybody say, give credit.
Give credit.
To where credit is due.
Where credit is due.
My dad believed in giving credit to where credit is due. If you went in the house and there was something good to eat, he would say, Rosie fixed this, or Teresa fixed this, or you got to taste that pie your Aunt Sandra made. I mean, he would just give credit to where credit was due. And if you did something, he wanted you to tell him about it. And he wanted you to give him as much detail as possible. You know why? Because he was going to go tell your story. You weren't going to be able to tell it. Once you gave it to him, he was going to go tell it. And he didn't want you to just tell him. He wanted you to give him something. Give him a newspaper article, a clipping, a magazine, some kind of document. And then he's going to take that all over Topeka and tell everybody he knew about you. I knew anything I did, all I had to do was tell my dad, because he's going to give credit to where credit is due, send him the newspaper article or the magazine, and then he's going to go around Topeka raising my credit score because he's going to tell everybody. And then my dad, he felt that same way about himself. He'd call and tell me what he had done. I'd call him and say, Ruben, I've been over at International Academy. That's your Aunt Sandra's program. And yeah, I know. And he would tell me everything he'd done. He didn't mind telling. He wasn't bragging. He was excited because he got a chance to serve. But he believed in giving credit where credit was due, even when it came to himself. As a matter of fact, my grandmother, Maddie West, his mom, called my dad when me and my brother was younger, and she said, Bobby, this screen door won't close. She had a screen door, you pull it open, and it would snap back shut. She said, the screen door won't close. And he said, okay, I'll be over there to fix it. So he grabbed his tools. Me and my brother jumped in the truck. We went over there. As soon as we hit the house, we hugged Grandma. We hit the cookie cabinet. That's something that y'all may not know about. But we hit the cookie cabinet, and my dad went to work on the door. And it only took him a few minutes. And he said, look, Mama. He pushed it open and it snapped back. Push it open and it snapped back. Push it open and snap back. He said, I fixed the door. And my grandma West, if you know, she said, thank you, Jesus, thank you, Jesus, thank you, Jesus, thank you, Jesus. And my dad said, you can thank Jesus for getting me here, but you can thank me for fixing this door. I mean, he just believed in giving credit to where credit was due. He was too logical. We couldn't keep up with my dad. My friend John Funk, when we were little, he told me we were going to the store and he said he had some money. And I said, where do you keep getting this money from? He said, what do you mean? From my dad, my mom. I said, how? He said, allowance. I said, what does that mean? He said, you don't get allowance? I said, I've never even heard of allowance. He said, your parents are supposed to give you money. It's called allowance. When you do work around the house, you get money. I said, what kind of work? He said, if you clean up, you sweep the floor, do the dishes. Like my brother said, he retired from that a long time ago. So I told my brother, I said, Robbie, listen to this. We're supposed to get allowance. Dad's been cheating us out of our allowance. And so my brother said, let's go. And so we went in, Dad, we need to talk. He said, what's up? He said, Ruben talked to his friend and he said he got allowance. And so he got allowance for doing chores, and we do a lot of stuff. We sweep the floors, we do the dishes, we do the laundry, clean the bathroom, take out the trash, cut the grass. And so we want allowance. He didn't miss a beat. He said, no problem. And we like, you gonna give us allowance? He said, yes, I'm gonna allow you to live here, I'm gonna allow you to sleep here, I'm gonna allow you to and I'm not even gonna charge you for it, and I'm gonna allow you to get out of my face. He didn't miss a beat. That's my dad. He was so witty. My friend Kevin and I, we were starting a business, and they said, Kevin, the money man, he said, Ruben, we need $100,000. There's four of us. He said, all we got to do is get $25,000 each. And I was at his house. He said, as a matter of fact, I'm going to call my dad right now. He picked up the phone. Dad, it's Kevin, me and Ruben, new business, $100,000, $25,000. That's what I need. I need a loan. Yeah, okay, bye. My dad said, I'll have the money on Friday. I said, what? I said, I'm going over to talk to my dad. That wasn't a phone call. I got to go talk. So I went over to my dad. I said, Dad, I need to get a loan for $25,000. He said, for what? I said, well, me and Kevin are starting this business. We need $25,000 each. We got to come up with $100,000, but don't worry, Dad, we're going to make a lot of money. I just need this loan. And he said, well, it's no problem, but did you go talk to the bank? I said, no, I just came. He said, well, learn the order of things. Just go talk to the bank, see what they say, and then come back and tell me. So I put on my suit, went to the bank. I met with the loan officer. He said, come back on the following Wednesday. No problem. The following Wednesday, I put on, everybody said the same suit. I put on the same suit, went back to the bank, and he said, here's what he said, Mr. West, we looked over your loan paperwork. You don't have a cosigner, you don't have collateral, and you don't have experience. And so it just wouldn't be a smart idea for us to give you this loan. I said, I don't care. Go talk to my dad. So I left out of there, went to my dad's house. Dad! Yeah, come out here, it's Ruben. Yeah, what's up? I need that $25,000. Did you go talk to the bank? I said, yeah. Well, what'd they say? They said, I didn't have collateral, I didn't have a cosigner, and I didn't have experience. And he said, Ruben, listen, do you know how much money the bank has? I said, yeah, Dad, millions and millions and millions of dollars. He said, well, if they have millions and millions and millions and they thought it was a bad idea to give you money, why would I do it? He just wouldn't do it. I had no comeback. I had nothing to say. It didn't bother me because my dad wanted me to not just take the first no. No means N-O, next option. Yeah. And so many times we quit at no. It doesn't mean no. It means N-O, next option.
Amen. Come on. Amen. Good.
I want to tell you this quick story, and then I'm really done. I heard it as the wisdom walk. I heard Pastor T tell the story the other day. I heard it as the wisdom walk. When the monks lived in a monastery, they would come down every once in a while the mountains and go into town. And when they came down, the senior monk would always take an understudy. And during this walk, they could ask any question that they wanted to know. So that's why they called it the wisdom walk. And so the monk selected the understudy. They were going down the mountain. He was asking everything about his life, about the past, about the present, about the future, about the afterlife. He asked everything he wanted to know all the way down the mountain, across the creek, and into town. It took a day to get down and a day to get back. During the middle of the night, the understudy was writing down all the questions that he wanted to ask the next morning on the way back up to the mountain. It had rained all night, and as they started walking, he started asking the questions. They came to the river, but it had started to flood, so the understudy ran across, but the senior monk saw a lady standing there, and he went over and picked her up. And he carried her across, and he set her down on the other side. And now it changed from a wisdom walk to a silent walk. All the way back up the mountain, the understudy wasn't asking any questions. It's like he was thinking. And then when they almost got to the top of the mountain and they could see the monastery, he said, I got one more question. He said, of course, this is your time, whatever you want to know. He said, we don't touch women. We don't get close to women. We don't pick up women. We don't hold them close. I mean, you picked her up. She put her arm around you. Her perfume got on you, and you carried her across. I mean, you've got to help me understand this. This is not something we do. How am I supposed to process this? What am I supposed to make of this? And he said, I put her down a long time ago. You're still carrying her with you.
Come on, man. All right.
I want to share a story. I called my dad in 2015. I said, Dad, I need to talk to you. He said, shoot. I said, I've been bothered for 24 years. I've been upset with you for 24 years. He said, what? I said, yeah, you remember in 1991 when I got activated to go to the Gulf War? Do you remember when they called the house and Mom answered the phone and they said that I was activated, I was going to war, and she started crying. She dropped the phone. She fell to her knees. She collapsed. She had to be helped up. She couldn't take it. And you know what you said to me? You're going to be just fine. And I don't understand. Why didn't it bother you? I could get shot over there. I could die over there. I could be killed over there. And all you had to say was, you're going to be just fine. You didn't say, I love you. You didn't say a tear. It didn't even bother you. You didn't even care. He said, listen. What happened was, I said, you're going to be just fine. Everything else was a story you made up based on what I said. You haven't been mad at me for 24 years. You've been mad at the story you made up about what I said. I'm helping somebody today.
Come on. Help somebody.
He said, what you got to understand, Ruben, is we're men. And there's times that we have to stand in the face of adversity, even when it's difficult, even when it's hard. You know why? Because there's people who get our strength from us. And if I would have collapsed on that day, if I would have fell down, look what it would have done to your mom.
Amen.
And so I told you, you're going to be just fine, because I needed you to believe it, but more importantly, I needed her to believe it. And so Ruben, you have to ask yourself, what other stories have you made up? And I'm only telling you because I don't want you to waste 24 years or 24 months or 24 more days. You have to go back and look at the experiences in your life, those long-term hurts, the things that have bothered you, and ask yourself, what story did you make up? And when are you going to go back to the person and get it cleared up? And so I made it a point. If something bothers me, I just reach out to the person.
That's all you do.
Amen.
Because I don't have another 24 months to waste, or 24 years to waste.
Amen. Amen.
Now I got to tell you something. I'm done. It's my brother Robert West III, graduated from the Heavy Equipment Operating School in Beloit, Kansas. Great father, great protector. If you don't believe me, mess with Carol Sue, mess with Rosetta May, or mess with Robert R. West III, and you'll see that he's crazy as my dad. You'll see it firsthand. He ain't gonna allow it. It's not gonna happen. My brother Ryan, watch this, self-taught diesel mechanic, understands math at a level that most of us can't even comprehend. I was talking to him yesterday, he was talking about the diesel engine, and I was like, and he reminded me so much of my dad. He's a great protector, he's a great provider. My sister Ramonda, master's degree social work, great mother, has opened her home many times. You know, a lot of people stayed with my mom and dad, a lot. Opened her home many times to let people come in, to stay, to get refuge, to get help. And me. And you're probably asking yourself, Ruben, why are you mentioning them at your dad's funeral? I'll tell you why. Because the apple doesn't far from what? You judge a tree by the fruit it bears. By their fruits ye shall know them. And so if you didn't get a chance to meet my dad, if you didn't get a chance to know him, all you got to do is get to know one of us and you'll see elements of my father. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I told you my dad had multiple sides and multiple dimensions, and you can ask my sister, my brother Robert, or my brother Ryan, or my mom. There are some things that he did that bothered us. There are some things that he did that upset us. There were some things that he did that made us mad. There are some things that he did that we were irritated by, and rightly so. And so you're probably asking yourself, Ruben, if that's the case, how can you guys put on this service for your dad? How can you stand up in front of everybody and talk about your dad with such kind and warm words? You know why? We put that stuff down a long time ago. And what we're carrying with us is the fact that he was a great dad, that he was a great husband, that he was a great provider, that he was very wise, that he would help anybody, that he taught us and he showed us. And Mom, you thought Dad was a great dad. You don't even know yet until he's gone, because watch what we do for you. Watch how we take care of you. We learned that from our dad. And so there's so many things that we put down a long time ago. And the other thing I'm carrying, they said, Ruben, do you want to speak at your dad's funeral? I said, of course I do. There's things you're trained to do and things you're ordained to do. So of course I'm going to speak at my dad's funeral. But you know what else I want to do? I want to carry that casket. I want to be a pallbearer. They said, you mean an honorary pallbearer? No, not honorary. I want to be a pallbearer. I'm going to carry that casket. Why? Because he carried me for so many years, I'm going to carry him. And so as I walk out here, I'm going to carry it with pride. I'm going to carry it with determination. I'm going to have my head held high. I'm going to be proud. And then later, I'm going to have my time in the floor. Rest well, Dad. You did good, Dad. Rest well, King. You taught us, you showed us. And now you ask yourself, what are you carrying with you? I love you all. Thank you.